Before printmaking, there was no way to create multiple images. Imagine a time before you could make multiples of anything. Printmaking came to Europe from China. It was developed in the 9th century in China and brought to Europe in the 15th century. Before that, every image had to be drawn or painted by hand. So the printing press changed Europe in the 1500s. It allowed ideas to spread faster through printing multiple copies of books, which before had to be copied by hand. And this dissemination of ideas is often cited as one of the factors in the Protestant Reformation. So what exactly is printmaking? We'll be looking at a few different kinds of printmaking: relief printing, intaglio, lithography, and screen printing. And the basic idea of printmaking is that there is a matrix that prints an edition, which is a series of multiple prints. So in this case, relief printing, the matrix is made of a wood block, in this case, and the wood is carved out so that the raised part receives the ink. And you could think of it like a fingerprint. The raised part of your finger receives the ink, or a tire track. The raised part of the tire will make the track. So here are some examples of relief printing. Intaglio is a little bit different. The ink sinks into grooves. As you can see here, there's grooves etched into a metal surface. And so intaglio, there's a few examples here of intaglio. And then finally, lithography. Lithography is the easiest of these three because instead of carving or etching, one just needs to draw with a lithocrayon onto this Bavarian limestone or a similar surface. So if you draw with a special lithocrayon or a certain kind of ink, the ink that you use for the print will stick only to the greasy area drawn with the crayon. So all you have to do is draw. You don't have to carve. Carving is going to take a lot more time than just plain drawing. And so then whatever greasy parts there are that you drew on the stone will take the ink, and that's how the print is made. This is a new technique in the 1800s, making printing much easier. So this had consequences for media, for newspapers. For example, Honoré Daumier could publish a print of an event that happened one day the very next day. He could print it in the paper the very next day. And of course, photography will make this process even easier, this process of relating newsworthy events. So finally, screen printing. Let's go through, this is all lithography. But screen printing is like stenciling. So if you have a stencil, but then you attach it to a silk screen, then you've created a screen print. And screen printing printing in general, printmaking, is associated with political causes, and it still is. Because if you want to spread a message, make as many prints as possible. Make multiples of your poster, such as this political poster, to get the word out to as many people as possible. The purpose of making a print, then, is so that one's work can be reproduced again and again. So Daumier was a great example because he made prints that could be printed in newspapers. Today, we have other ways of printing multiples, obviously. Artists now can make prints of their work through digital technologies. And in fact, we're even doing less printing than we used to do because we can receive much of our media on devices, electronic devices. So what is now the purpose of traditional forms of printmaking? Your book explains what these various forms are, what I just went through, and then also explains the reasons that artists still practice traditional forms of printmaking. You can check your text to discover what those reasons are. But a couple of contemporary artists who still engage in printmaking practices include Ellen Gallagher. And if you want to find out more about her work, there's a great Art 21 video that I'll send you a link to that shows her ideas behind the work that she's doing, as well as shows her engaging in printmaking processes. And in addition, there's an artist named Swoon who combines printmaking with street art. She makes these prints that she then pastes pastes to outside walls, and eventually they're going to decay and disappear, but she's employing printmaking with her street art. So this example is both a print and paper cut, and it's called Portrait of Sylvia Elena, which draws attention to the many young women who've been killed on the Mexican border town of Juarez.